A new Canadian reality TV show is aiming to shock us into tidying up our lives. Jill Pollack, a decluttering expert, is the host of a new TV show called Consumed, which reveals the effect of clutter on relationships and our lives. Here's a taste of the first episode called The Welches, which airs on August 30th.
There's laundry everywhere. You're, in a way, at that why bother stage, obviously. And I do think that it's affecting your health in other ways.
Yeah, I think the weight issue for me goes hand in hand with the clutter issue.
This clothing, this stuff, this junk, these toys are just literally weighing you down. And I think that...
An excerpt from the first episode of Consumed, hosted by Jill Pollack. She joins us now on the phone. Congratulations on your new show.
Oh, hi. Thank you. Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting.
It is, and certainly a very big deal when it comes to dealing with all the stuff that we consume these days. How big a problem is stuff in our lives?
Oh, my gosh. Well, you know, I think there's some statistic that storage units are one of the fastest growing real estate properties in North America. I mean, people are just holding on to stuff. You know why? Back in the day, they used to make stuff really well. So you'd, like, bring the toaster in to get fixed. Now you just go to the, local box store and get a new one, and it's cheaper to get a new one than to fix it. And so a lot of people just hold on to these things because they do seem like silly to throw away, but it's a consumer culture. It's the next trend, the latest hot happening thing, and that's we're all kind of susceptible to that, and I think that's what's going on. I think there's trouble spots in everybody's house. I pretty much think that I like to offer to issue the 10 garbage bag challenge. I think that every home, no matter how organized you think you are, has 10 garbage bags worth of unnecessary stuff in the house, and that's nothing. A lot of pieces, basements and attics. I mean, people just put stuff away for later. Maybe they need it, memorabilia, and at the end of the day, it ends up honestly just being kind of a big garbage dump.
Oh, I think 10 bags would be the minimum in my house, I'd say. And what is the difference, Jill, between clutter and hoarding?
It's so interesting because of all those shows. Everyone asks me that, and to me, I'm not a psychologist, although I did get my psychology degree in my undergraduate. Hoarding is like a chemical problem in the brain, sort of like addiction, right? And the regular kind of people who are clutterers, it's more of behavioral. What this show does consume is behavioral. It's sort of seeing how life can be without it all. A lot of these people, it just kind of happens. Life happens to them. Somebody dies and the kid moves out, and what do you do with all the old books? And, it's sort of, there's never any outgoing. It's always incoming. So you get to a point where you realize, I really have so much here. How did this all happen? And
Jill, what effect does it have on people when they have too much stuff around them?
Well, gosh, it really depends. You look at a lot of the people that we have on our shows, like, they're not using their dining room table to eat on. They're not sleeping in their own beds. A lot of times people say, oh, clutter, it's not really a problem. And it's true. It depends on what kind of clutter you have. If you have too many socks in your sock drawer and you can't open it, well, that's certainly it's not a major problem. But yeah, little chunks of your day are sort of, taken away by the annoyance of having to shove a drawer open and shut. I think having an uncluttered house is healthy, productive. I think when you know where everything is, and you know what you have to do, and you have your to-do list and it's manageable, you actually get things done, as opposed to these sort of pages and pages of to-do lists which never get done. And I think that sucks away your soul, right? When you just constantly are feeling like, I have to do this or I should do this.
What does your new show, Consumed, do with people?
Well, I go in there and I assess what's going on. I look at where the problem spots are, and we issue them a 30-day challenge. And basically, they get rid of practically everything in the house for 30 days. It goes away. We go through different challenges to understand why the stuff got there, how the stuff got there, and learn about, why are you holding on to this item. It's really just taking an honest look at your things and understanding why have you kept it? Why do you think you need it? And then they have to go through it and decide what comes back.
I would be remiss, Jill, and people would be annoyed with me if I did not ask you for at least one or two simple tips to help us get on top of our clutter, since we can't all be on your show, Consumed.
I know, if only. Well, here's one big sort of overarching psychological tip. People think if they get rid of the Afghan that Granny made them. They're getting rid of the memory of Granny. They're not. It's a dusty, moldy, ugly Afghan, and Granny is dead, and you love her, and maybe what you have is you have her special necklace that you love and wear. The first thing I say to people in terms of getting rid of clutter is get rid of the guilt. Because when you feel like you have that pair of pants in your closet that you spent a lot of money on, the tags are still on, but they never fit and they ain't gonna fit, it makes you feel bad about yourself every time you go in your closet. Like, move on.
Jill, thanks for joining us today. We look forward to it.
Thanks for having me. Watch it and have fun and learn some things.
I probably will. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Jill Pollack is the host of Consumed. It debuts on Tuesday, August the 30th on HGTV.